Welcome, my name's Sam and this is The Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to my 25 project countdown to Christmas. So I started on October the 27th and I'm going all the way through to the 1st December. That's 5 weeks of festive fun. Each week I'll be featuring a different bundle. This week we're focusing on the Jolly Delivery. Oh, catch my breath. And from Monday to Friday I'll be sharing brand new projects to spark our creativity. Expect a little bit of everything. We've got scrapbooking pages, funky folds, gift ideas, and some home decor. So if you are loving the crafty, cozy vibes and a sprinkle of the Christmas cheer, please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you can craft along with me as we count down to Christmas. I must apologise if you can hear some background noise. I've got some building work going on behind me and for some reason they've just started up. So we've got a little bit of background noise, so I do apologise. But it's Funky Fold Friday, so we are going for our Funky Fold. And it's this little card here. It opens just like that. So it's quite a simple card, but very effective. So let's bring in the supplies. So the first thing I've got is a piece of shaded spruce, which is this one. And that measures 5 3/4 by 8.5. I then have 3 pieces of designer series paper. The largest of the 3 measures 2.5 by 5.5. And then these two are identical and they measure 1.25 by 5.5. I then have 2 pieces of Very Vanilla and these both measure 2.5 by 5.5. Okay, we've also got a sentiment strip, which is actually quite big because we're actually going to use this very large Merry Christmas. So this is 2.25 by 4.25, and then the backing layer is 2.5 by 4.25. Don't worry, I will put all the measurements onto my blog. And then last but by no means least, I have 13 inches of shaded spruce and soft sea foam ribbon. It is so soft. It's a shame we haven't got what's the word? I know you can get smell-o-vision, but this is touch-o-vision. It is so soft. It really is beautiful and silky. Okay, and I've got 3 blend pens that I'm going to be using. So light shaded spruce, dark peach pie, and dark poppy parade. Okay, so I think the first thing we'll do is let's do the stamping. So we're going to need one of those and one of those. Pop that aside. So this is for inside the card and this is for the sentiment. So I'm going to use Early Espresso and the first thing I'm going to stamp is the Merry Christmas. Just because it's so large, I'm going to tap my ink pad on the sentiment. Yeah, I think everything's covered. Move that aside, bring that over. And we can go straight down. There we go. Do you know, I did wonder. It was just there, it looked at. Let's turn it over. We know, thankfully, our papers are double-sided. Oh, I hope this doesn't mean this is the way a Monday's going to go. Friday's going to go. Right, let's try that again. So, there we go. Perfect, let's try that again. Right. Okay, hold it down for a second. That's much better. Okay, so we can put that aside. And then I'm just going to bring this in. And I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping with the images from the stamp set. So I'm going to put my, got some letters. So that will go just here. And my dog bringing his letter to here. Got the North Pole compass. And then I've got the sentiment from the actual stamp set, which says Merry Christmas and Happy Wishes. Lovely. So I can pop those back. And then we've got the ink pens to do a bit of colouring. Let's bring those in. So I've got shaded spruce. I'm going to do that on his jumper. And also up here on the North Pole star. I'm going to use the peach pie, so my doggy is going to be a very light brown. Little tip of his nose. I'm going to colour in 2 of the letters in that, and then the letter in his mouth, and then the 2 letters up here in Poppy Parade. And as usual, I have already done the colouring in. Perfect. So now we're down to the scoring. So we're going to bring in our shaded spruce. I'm going to grab my excuse me, I'm going to grab my scoring tool. You can use whatever is available to you. And I'm going to score at 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to score at 4 1/4. 4 1/4, 4.5, 4 1/4. And that is it. They are the 2 scores marks that we need to do. Those there. Whoops. Right. And then we're going to fold it over. So burnish. And then bring that one back on itself. And burnish. Okay. So let's bring in all our pieces now that we can stick down. They're everywhere, aren't they? Oh. Right. So I need my stamp and seal. So the largest of the 3 designer series paper fits on here. Okay. So I'm going to do that first. There we are. Let's just burnish that down there. Then I'm going to fold that over, and then the first piece is going to go here. Now I have actually, excuse me, I've actually cut mine in order, so that when the card is closed, that the pictures carry through. Obviously, that's because mine is directional paper, designer series paper, but obviously you could do non-directional and then it won't matter. Okay, so that goes here. Oops. All the way down. And then this one goes on the straight on to the inside of the card here. Okay, straight on. Turn him around. There we go. And our doggy all lines up. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Excellent. Right, what to do next? So the next thing to do is to stick our pieces of white, or in this case, very vanilla, in. So I'm going to glue that down. Obviously, if you don't like stamp and seal, you could use your multi-purpose or even your tear and tape. And that goes into there. And then I've got a plain piece here to put in for you to do your writing. If you preferred, you could decorate this piece and then put a blank piece on the back here, excuse me, for writing. Now, I'm aiming this as over to the left as possible because when the card is closed, I do not want it to show through. Okay, so when a card is closed, it's not showing through. So the next thing to do is to take our piece of ribbon. Now, I'm going to bring, where's my glue dots gone? There they are. So I'm going to take a glue dot and where they gone? There they are. Put the first one in the middle here, and I'm going to bring that over so it matches, and then you've got this piece to go over as well, straight down. And again, I'm going to hold that in place with another glue dot. Put one there. And, oh, can you hear that drilling? Guess I'm going to have a headache by the end of the day. Right, make sure it's pulled taut. And then you can just match it up like so. Right, and the reason I've put the break here is because we're going to cover it up with our sentiment, so it won't actually show through. Okay, we're going to need to put the sentiment on. So let's line that up. So it's actually going to meet at the edges left and right. It's the border is at top and bottom. There we go. And that will then sit on there like so. Right, I'm going to put it on dimensional, so let's grab those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the dimensionals on the actual card rather than on the sentiment. Okay, so let's get these down. So you've got one there and then one on the other side. They are going to be a tight fit, but do not worry, it won't show through. 1, 2, I think I can get 3. Yep, I can. 1, 2. Right, and we can take the backings off of those. And then we can work out where our sentiment is to go. There we go. So as you can see, our little doggy is peering here. Quite cute. Right, so that is our quick and easy card for today. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this week. Don't forget to join me next week for another 5 projects, and it will be a different bundle. So enjoy your weekend. Take care. Bye.